tell you one thing. I'm usually not too worried about people breaking in my rig, but with that thing hanging out the window, who's actually a sweetheart and scared of literally everything, I'm not too worried about people breaking in. All she's got to do is give them that smoldering intensity. About to pull up to the camp spot. That's like a big land dam right there next to us. Camp spot's like right down this hill right here. And I'm just hoping that it's not busy because it's such a beautiful weekend. When I was here last time, I was literally the only person here the whole time. There was a couple of people that showed up to fish one day, but the whole rest of the time I was by myself, so really hoping that's the case this year as well, because it was so nice and quiet. I'm sitting right on a lake. Alright, and moment of truth. It's looking pretty empty. I don't see anybody right now. Okay, so there's a couple of bigger campers here spread out, which bigger campers don't worry me too much because that's old people from my experience, and old people aren't rowdy in my experience, and when they are, it's the fun kind of rowdy. So, and they also aren't in the spot that I was wanting to get in. I'm happy. I'm stoked right now. Let's get parked. Alright, I'm pretty sure this is the spot that we stayed last year. If it's not, it's just like it. Yeah, this is it. Sick. Alright, let's see if I can get turned around and back in here. Alright. Home sweet home for the next 3 or 4 days. Or whenever I run out of food, probably. My closest neighbors currently, and surprisingly, how nice this weekend is, are right over that hill. You can kind of see the top of their camper right there. But again, they're in like a larger camper, so I don't think they're going to be too rowdy. Got some guys out here fishing this weekend, and I can't blame them. It's absolutely beautiful right now. It's like 65, 70 degrees. Sun is out, not many clouds in the sky, and a light breeze. Couldn't ask for better. Good girl. Good girl, Ash. Good morning, everybody. Second day at the campsite. Another gorgeous day. I think today I'm gonna try to get my throttle cable turned downward. These are aftermarket bars and risers that were on the bike when I bought it, and it's the factory throttle cables, and they're very tight. So anytime that I turn, which direction, I think it's when it turns this direction, it actually revs the engine because it pulls the throttle cable. So I'm going to try to rotate this downward. I hope it gives it some more slack. A buddy of mine that's big into dirt bikes told me, oh, you want it up top, but didn't really give me a good reason. So while I believe him, I also don't know how much damage it could take down there that isn't going to get hit right there. So I think I'm going to work on that. Probably take a little walk with her in a little while. May set up my hammock and do a little bit of reading this afternoon once it warms up a little more. Hopefully the wind stays low. It's usually pretty breezy out here on this end of the lake. So let's get some work done. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. It's idling, no throttle. It's revving. As of right now, it appears like it worked. No change in RPMs when I turn the bars, so that's good. Seems like everything's good. Basically, there's 2 bolts underneath here that clamp this to the bars, so I had to take the brake loose so I could get the cables around the brakes, and then basically just loosen the 2 bolts that hold this and rotate it downward. So now it's just right there, everything tucked in real nice. Pretty happy with the way that turned out. Good dog, good dog, good girl. Right, good kid. Good dog. So there are a few drawbacks to this campsite. Obviously none of them are ever perfect, but there's something that I mentioned last year when I was here, and it's the trash. For some reason in the South, people just like literally don't believe in trash cans. So they'll throw bottles and cans and all kinds of trash just out the window of their car. Or if they're out on the lake, they'll throw trash right off the side of the boat. And the people that come down here to hang out and fish or whatever else they do, they'll also just throw their trash out in the, like, I don't know if you can see it, but there's just tons of trash in the bushes here. And if you walk down by the rocks, you can collect tons of trash bags worth of bottles and cans. And that's just the South. Like, it doesn't matter what city you're in, what road you're going down. You can look off on the shoulder of the road and there's just trash everywhere. And I don't know where the culture started doing that, but it's definitely a toxic trait, and it makes these beautiful places so ugly. So if you're watching this and you live in the South anywhere, and I'm not saying this from an outside view, I lived in the South for years, and I saw it then, and I still see it now. Clean your trash up. Just take it with you, it's not hard. Put it in the bed of your truck, throw it in a garbage can when you get home, at the gas station, or any of the 25 or more trash cans that are around this park. One of the other major downsides of this place is more on the weekends than on the weekdays, but there's a lot of people that come down here just to joyride in really loud pickup trucks with their ball joints about to fall off and everything on the truck squeaking. And there's not a muffler to be found on any of them, which I can't say much about. This thing's loud as hell. To be fair though, I bought it that way. But basically they just come out here and romp all over the place and make a bunch of noise. And not just during the day, they'll come out at 10, 11 o'clock at night and make a whole lot of noise. And they'll like literally just drive right up into your parking spot sometimes. And then they like stare at you like you're the one that's not supposed to be here. So that's another downside. And that's something that you deal with a lot in these kind of spots. I've noticed is like locals come out and just cruise through. Even if they don't stay, they just literally just come drive through and stare at you for like 10 minutes. Like you're not supposed to be here. Even though it's a public camping spot that has it written on the gate up there that you're allowed to stay here and camp for 14 days. So that part kind of sucks. They like rarely wave. Like I said, they're usually rude and come through revving their engines and stuff. It's not like a thing of like, welcome to our town and we're glad you chose to come hang out here and spend money in our area. Before I leave, I'm gonna have $150, $200 into this community where people are coming out here and acting rude when you're trying to camp. The third one, and probably the only other one that I would complain about at all, this is probably a seasonal problem, I would imagine. There are public restrooms down that way, and we'll drive by them in a second, but they're locked right now, and I'm guessing it's a winter thing because this is the off season, which is also probably the reason there's literally no one in the campground right now. I'm sure in the summertime they're open when people are using the little beach down there and a lot more people are camping, but right now they're locked. So the only other option is on the other end of the dam down there. There's a porta potty for the boat ramp. So the good news is I bring this guy with me, so I can just whip it down the road. But now, if there's an emergency, obviously you could just use the natural facilities. But I try not to be that guy all the time, especially when there's people driving through here pretty often. These are the facilities I was talking about, and holy shit, look at this big guy. That's a spider. That is a wild looking spider. Jesus. Sorry, side note. But yeah, they're locked up right now. And I'm sure they're not anything special, but it'd be nicer than driving all the way down to the porta potty. But it's understandable. I know it's just a hassle to come out here and have to clean it when nobody's actually using it. But it is a really cool spot. There's another boat launch there. There's a bunch of picnic tables. That's like day use out there. They also have this pavilion over here. I'm sure that'd be cool for a birthday party in the summertime. And then down the way down there, you can see they've got it like buoyed off, and there's like a swimming area with a little beach for another day use area. But yeah, I mean, like, this is a really cool spot. It's like I said, it's a shame that people don't take care of it better. I was really looking forward to staying here again this year, and I'm so glad that I came back. On these calm days like this, I really wish I would have brought my kayak. It would be a lot of fun to go out on the lake. Yesterday it was pretty windy, and I think this afternoon it's supposed to get windy again, but on a calm day like this, it'd be amazing to get out on that lake. All right, here's the other fishing access. Boat ramp. There's only one person out here. Again, it's Monday. I don't think you can see it, but my camper is like right about at the top of that flagpole over there somewhere. Again, this is about the only good spot to take a dump if you need to in the off season. But with this thing, it's not that big of a deal. So I know my speaking and everything was pretty slow today. That cold I was talking about had me pretty down this whole time. I still really can't complain. Like, this is an amazing place to be in, even when you're sick. I had a little bit of an epiphany today. You know how on the internet all the time you see things about, like, you never know when your last day is, so you need to get it in while you can, basically, is what they're trying to say, and live every day like it's your last. I realized something that I do on these trips that I've never really thought about before, and the whole time that I'm on these trips, I have this mentality where in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, tomorrow's the last day. Tomorrow's the day I'm going home. Tomorrow's the day I have to go back to work. Tomorrow's the day the trip's over. And having that epiphany brought me into the mind state of what those people are talking about when they say that. I'm not saying that like I'm going to change my lifestyle drastically, but thinking about things in that way and having a real life situation for my brain to wrap itself around to compare to that really brought it full circle for me. So I really do want to start living my life like that. When I'm on the road, I get ahead sometimes because I'm so worried about not having enough time to do everything I want to do on the road. So like, I was supposed to be here on Sunday, but instead I ended up here on Saturday because there just wasn't anything interesting going on in the areas that I was in, and I wasn't excited about the areas I was in. So I jumped ahead and I spent a little bit more time in the truck on Saturday and ended up here a day ahead of time to a place I really wanted to be and uplifts my life. So I want to try to find a way to implement that in my day-to-day life and not spend time dwelling on what's wrong and that I'm in places that I don't want to be or people that I don't want to be around, and I want to advance to something that does make me excited. And life's not that complicated. It can feel complicated sometimes, but life's not that complicated. You can work 5 more hours a week and make so-and-so amount more money. You can go out on a hike on a day that you don't feel like going on a hike, but it's going to uplift your life more than sitting at home on the couch flipping through Netflix or YouTube trying to find something to watch that you don't really want to watch, or taking a weekend trip and going somewhere, you know, instead of thinking, oh man, I probably don't have enough time to do that this weekend. I can't get that far in a weekend. Just do it. Again, like, I'm just as guilty as everybody else. I'm trying to come up with ways, even now sitting beside this campfire, to put myself in that mind frame when I get back home and still on the road, and find ways to expedite myself into places that I want to be and not sit around and think, oh, it probably slipped by, or I can't do that, or I don't like where I'm at. And I'm sorry, I know these videos are usually pretty upbeat, but you know, when you let yourself down for a lot of years in a lot of situations, sometimes it just hits you like that, you know? You gotta make the best of your life while you have it, because the trip's gonna be over sooner than you think. I'm gonna enjoy this fire. You guys have a good night.